Alright, hello everyone. This is going to be a soldier loadout guide. Now, soldiers are not so straightforward to build as most of the other classes. Typically when you're talking about soldiers, you're talking about weapon damage builds, but there are quite a few ability builds that the soldiers have that even I still use. So to start off, we're just going to go with the assault rifle. So actually, some of the weapons that the soldiers can buff will be assault rifles and SMGs. Those kind of go together. So with assault damage, you can see increases assault damage and SMG damage. So those go hand in hand. Shotguns and sniper rifles, and bows are included in that category because bows are considered sniper rifles. So when you're talking about weapon builds, there really are only two team perks that are going to be beneficial to you. That's Blast from the Past and Totally Rocking Out. There are a few other options you can do. At the end of the day, it is really personal preference. There's no like one best build. And speaking of personal preference, I will get to that, because if you could tell by my loadout, it might be a little unorthodox compared to what you're used to seeing. But so with Blast from the Past, it removes all your shield and increases your max health by 200%. And if you don't have this, the only thing you have to do is get one of the prehistoric heroes, the dinosaur heroes. I'll just go to the collection book real quick. Right now in this event is how you get these dinosaur heroes. So if you don't have any, start playing. They are some of the best heroes in the game. Right here, historic heroes. So you get one of these heroes and you'll get the Blast from the Past team perk. So yeah, Blast from the Past. This is what I like to play with. This is pretty much survivability. And then Totally Rock It Out. Rock and Riff also increases crit rating by 160. Now, I don't know how much 160 crit rating is because that's not actually the percentage, obviously. 160% would be stupid. But it's a lot. It's a lot of crit rating. So crit rating just affects your crit chance. Decays over 8 seconds and heals 73.75 base health. So this is also your other option. This is going to be for your damage build. So to get Rock and Rift to proc, you use heroes like where is she? Battle Beat, right here. Eliminating 10 enemies in 9 seconds grants Rock and Rift. And so Rock and Rift gives you 50% damage, just overall damage that applies to weapons, traps, abilities, and it gives you melee attack speed by 32%, so you can even use her in a melee build if you like. But yeah, so that's how you proc Totally Rockin' Out, is you use those rad heroes. So that'll be over here in the collection book. Rad heroes. Any of these heroes. Typically, what you're going to use for those is going to be Breakbeat, Wildcat, and Varsity Hero. What Varsity Hero does is when eliminated enemies have a 7% chance to fumble a football, so it just drops a football on the ground, you walk over it, and it'll get you the Rock and Rift buff. You can also run sub wafers. Main stage Quinn here, so she gives you sub wafers. Harvesting metal objects has a 32% chance to give sub wafers. So yeah, any metal object, it'll give you a chance to get these sub wafers, and they're just like a consumable that goes in your healing slot, and you just eat it, and then it gives you the buff, and that's good for when you really need to be doing your damage all the time. So typically with this build, when you're not critting, you're not doing damage, or realistically with any build in the game, weapon builds, if you're not critting, you're not doing damage, and so this allows you to proc it whenever you want. She's a little too, I don't know what the word is. I don't really like to use her. You have to run around and break a lot of things and I mean, it doesn't take that long. 32% chance is quite high. She's not bad. She's definitely not bad. I just don't like her too much. I just kind of like to be in the fight always. off spawn. I like to just go start the mission, build the base, whatever. So I don't give myself the time to get the sub wafers. So for me right here, as you can see, when you're talking about assault rifles, the two main heroes that you want is going to be Rescue Trooper Ramirez and can't remember his name. Tactical Assault Sledgehammer. There you go. So this guy gives you assault crit damage, and Rescue Trooper Ramirez gives you just base assault damage. So she gives you 50% in the lead, 17 in the support. He gives you 75% crit rating, or crit damage, excuse me, in the support, and 225% in the lead. This has been proven that they're almost identical, whether or not you put them in support or lead. Assault crit damage in the lead has higher highs but lower lows, where Rescue Trooper Ramirez has more consistent overall. So you really can't go wrong either one. If you are running totally rocking out, I prefer him in the lead, because you're gonna have that crit chance more often, so you want to be hitting that crit damage. So he's better in the lead if you're running totally rocking out, and if you're running blast from the past or anything else, I would just recommend having her. She's more consistent. But even then, it's not that big a deal. It won't matter. So if you crit often, and you're even running blast from the past, and you know, you have high crit chance on your weapons, or you run double crit rating, if that's something you like to do, then by all means run assault crit damage in your lead. At the end of the day, it's not a big difference unless you're using totally rocking out. Then you want him in the lead. So with blast from the past, I have to use dinosaur heroes to proc the team perk, right? So I use Saurian Might and Saurian Hide. So Saurian Might every 1 second adds 3% of current health to damage of next range weapon. So I always have over 1,000,000 health. So 3% of 1,000,000, you know, you do the math. It's only one bullet, so it's not great for assault rifles. It's very good on shotguns, very good on the sniper builds. But I have to get it procced, and there's really no other better options. You know, first shot, extra damage, why not? And then I run Saurian Hide. Every blast from the past build, I'm pretty sure I run Saurian Hide. While shield is depleted, increases armor by 33. So what armor does, it's just a damage resistance. Now, I believe that this number is wrong. So if I go to my stats and I go down here to damage resistance, it says 18%. I have been told that this is actually 33%, because, you know, 33 armor is 33% damage reduction. I could be very wrong. When she's in the lead, she gives you 100 armor, but the stat doesn't increase. But if I take her off, it goes down to 0, right? And if I put her in the lead, it goes down to 0. So I don't actually know if it's 18% damage reduction, if it's 33%. Either way, it's damage reduction. And in just about any game, I'd rather take a longer time to kill the enemies and not die than be like glass cannon. That's just my preferred playstyle. If you like to just have damage, by all means, do that. If that's your playstyle, if you like to do that, do it. For me personally, I don't. I like to be very tanky. Now with assault rifle builds, and even SMG builds, because they go together, you can get away with having totally rocking out, not having the blast from the past, because you are going to be at range. Because I run pretty much the same build on my shotguns and also my snipers, but also the shotgun, and especially with the snipers, you're going to be even further. So you 100% can get rid of, or get away with totally rocking out. But I like to be tanky, so I run bomb suit, increases armor by 22. That's just another flat damage reduction. So again, even with him, this 18% is not counting him, so it's only from her. So I don't know how they calculate it. I'm pretty sure that just means 22% damage reduction. That's what I've been told. So I have a grand total of 55% damage reduction. I don't know if there's diminishing returns at all, but you take a lot less damage, I'll tell you that much. I'm very tanky. So yeah, of course, assault crit damage, because this is an assault rifle build, and then I run survivalist because I like to have a little bit of healing. I just like a ton of survivability. Adrenaline Rush and Stationary Hover Turret are literally my staples. I run this on pretty much every single loadout, like all the time. The only other one that I would recommend running is the Slow Field. This is very, very good. Banner you can get away with for respawn point, but Slow Field is very good. But Adrenaline Rush and the Hover Turret are what I run on just about everything. So that's pretty much the assault rifle build. If you're looking for totally rocking out build, you would just run totally rocking out. You would run Battle Beat for sure. Battle Beat, and then you can either run Fumble. You can either run Fumble or you can run Subwoofers. It's up to you completely. And then you would run, if you're just going straight damage, you'll run Assault crit damage in the lead, and then you run Assault damage in the support. And then you can run something like Survivalist if you like it. If you don't care, you can run extra damage. You can run Crack Shot and Startup for stacking damage buffs. You could run Locked and Reloaded after reloading reduces your weapon damage by 15%. I usually have mag size, like a high mag size on my assault rifle, so I don't really proc it that often. You could run, where is it here? Assault Ammo Recovery. Assault weapons and SMGs have a 24% chance to refund ammo every shot. That's very good as well. Crack Shot here, of course, for if you just want pure damage. And it works fine, but like I said, I like to be very tanky, so that's not what I run. If you want to just copy and paste this build, try it for yourself, by all means do that. And for shotgun builds, I pretty much do the same thing. Soaring Might, Soaring Hide, Bomb Suit, Damage, Crit, Survivalist. It's especially great with this kind of build because with shotguns, obviously you're close range and you're always near the enemies, but I can stay in the fight the entire mission. I typically won't be... Like, I won't have really low health because I have Survivalist. That's kind of always healing me on the side. If there's ever a point where I just get like super weak, you know, I can play back a little bit with my launcher. I have the plasmatic discharger. I can just shoot into a wave of enemies behind a wall and kind of heal up, and then I can get back in the fight. But it usually never happens. I'm usually always over 800,000 health, if not over 1 million. I think I have like 1.5 million health with this, give or take, something like that. And it's super tanky. But if you're gonna run the totally rocking out, you would just run Crit Blast, Shell Shock in your support, Battle Beat, and Fumble or Subwoofers, up to you. And then you would run right here, Locked and Reloaded, because you're always reloading. You can manipulate your reloads by shooting, reload, shooting, reload, shooting, reload. You're always having that damage buff. It'll always refresh. And you can do Survivalist if you want. That's also great, even if you're a full damage build, just to have some sustainability. And plus you have a lower health bar, so it impacts it more. That's about it for damage in terms of shotguns. There's nothing else. You could do like Warcry cooldown reduction if you wanted to, just to kind of get it back faster, because when you buff your Warcry, it gives you a ton of damage. I use this all the time. When I have it up, pop it in a fight and just go ham. So yeah, that would be your shotgun build. Like I said, I like to be very tanky, so that's why I run double armor and Blast from the Past. And then so this is a bit overkill in terms of survivability. With a bow build, you absolutely do not need Blast from the Past. You're gonna play at range a lot. The reason I like to is because the Mist Monster blasters and the Cowboy blasters, they hit like a truck and they have incredible range, always at the range that you'll be at. And so they're always hitting you, at least for me. And I don't like to have in like cracked positioning. So that's why I like to play Blast from the Past as well, but also with the sniper build, because those enemies are always hitting you, and you can play close and kind of do some other things with it while having Blast from the Past because you're so tanky. You absolutely don't need this. Totally rocking out, works perfectly fine and is very great for this kind of build. Now, I don't have the 2 soldiers that buff snipers, unfortunately. One is Redline Ramirez, I believe her name is. She's under Road Trip Heroes. Redline Ramirez increases sniper damage by 17%. That's what you want in this build. And then Springtime Rabbit Raider Jonesy increases sniper crit damage. So if you're running Totally Rocking Out, you run Rabbit Raider Jonesy in the lead, or you can run Cupid's Arrow, Stoneheart Ferris. So on bow hit, arrow splintered, dealing 60% of damage to 5 nearby targets. That's her commander, and I believe it's 20% for support. Yeah, 20%, which still works fine, especially when you're critting all the time and you have high crit. 20% of a crit hit on a bow is insane. So you can run Rabbit Raider Jonesy or her. If you run her, then you just run the 2 in your support. If you run Rabbit Raider Jonesy, you just run her and Redline Ramirez in your support. But yeah, I like Blast from the Past, like I said. I'll repeat myself over and over. So when I get them, I'll probably remove Bomb Suit and Locked and Reloaded, but that's just what I have right now for fillers. I don't run this too often. My favorite build's probably the shotgun. And then I don't believe I have it in my loadouts right now. Yeah, I don't have it in my loadouts right now, but for a minigun build, in fact, I can just get rid of this one. For a minigun build, it's minigun and lefty and righty. I have like no heroes for lefty and righty. There are plenty of builds on that you can find for a lefty and righty build. But for miniguns is probably the most common build. So there are a few ways you can run the minigun build. So there's like a 5-second cooldown reduction build. There's like a 20-second duration build, and then there's like a full damage, like energy damage build. So for the cooldown build, actually we'll just do the duration build since she's right here. So increases going command duration by 20 seconds. So real quick, I think if I go over here, last 10 seconds. So that's a 30-second duration on your minigun. That's insane. You don't need that. It's a little bit overkill in terms of duration, unless you're just defending an entire, like an Atlas mission or something really long that has, tons of enemies for a long duration. Then that's what this is for. So you're always killing ads. And I don't remember the cooldown, but it's pretty low. It's a pretty short cooldown even with this duration. So you'll run Happy Holidays. So with ability builds, I recommend Happy Holidays. This is reduce your ability cooldown by 40%. You can get this by getting either Jilly Teacup or Ted in the holiday heroes. So Ted or Jilly Teacup is how you get that. So you can go down here, Happy Holidays, boom. Go down here, Happy Holidays. So you run Happy Holidays, and then you're gonna run Going Again. This just reduces the cooldown by 30%. So you have a 70% cooldown, which is huge. And then you run Ted while Going Commando is active, increases crit rating by 10 and crit damage by 100%. This is a lot of damage. Keep in mind, things that increase ranged weapon damage, like stacking buffs and things like that, the minigun does not count as a ranged weapon. It is strictly an ability. So anything that buffs ranged weapons will not give you a buff. But you can run Battle Beat. Battle Beat just gives you an increased damage by 50%, just flat, and eliminating 10 enemies with your minigun. Super easy. So Battle Beat is very good. You can use. There's a few. I think I have some maybe in the next edition. So base solo is good, because what you'll do is you'll pop your war cry, and then you'll pop your minigun, and then you just have that war cry duration for your minigun. It doesn't buff your damage because it buffs weapon damage, the war cry, but it does give you an attack speed increase. So it's still very usable. And then Boomstick right here increases going commando damage by 25%. And then you can run Survivalist, you can run Sergeant Winter. He gives you like snowball grenades. I don't really care to use them that much. Like I said, I like survivability, so I typically will run survivalist. If you wanted the cooldown reduction build, you'll just swap these two. You'll literally just swap Going Again and Ain't Done Yet. So he'll go in your lead. This gives you 66% chance, or 66% cooldown reduction on top of 40%. That's 100% insane. And then you'll just put Going Commando, or you'll put Ain't Done Yet in your support. And then for the damage build, you run Boomstick. So what Boomstick does is, if I can find it here. So yeah, you just run Diecast Jonesy in your lead. He increases your Going Commando damage by 50% and changes the damage type to energy. And then you'll just run Ain't Done Yet and Going Again in your support. And then you can run Survivalist, Sergeant Winter, anything you really want in that category. It's up to you. You could run Escape Artist. He's a soldier. When you use Shockwave, gives you a movement speed boost. So you could pop Shockwave, pop your minigun, and then you get a good movement speed boost while you're in your minigun. Since you're really clunky with it, you can't really do anything. And then in terms of gadgets for all these builds, like I said, Adrenaline Rush and Hover Turret, you can't go wrong. Slow Field is very, very good. Banner's okay. Everything else is useless, in my opinion. But yeah, so that pretty much does it for the soldier loadout builds. Like I said, lefty and righty, I have nothing for that. Grenade builds are they're okay, but I mean, that's not something that I like to run. That's not very enjoyable for me, but if you want to, by all means, there are a ton of heroes that buff grenades. Warcry builds, there are some Warcry builds. Oh, actually, you could do a rocket build. So you'll run Star Spangled Headhunter in the lead. So Warcry grants 50% chance for each shot to not cost ammo. And then you'll run Enduring Machine. So explosive weapons have a 20% chance not to consume ammo. So that's a 70% chance with your rockets. And then you'll run just Warcry buffers. So reduce Warcry cooldown. You can run Fight or Flight if you want to. Gives you weapon damage, movement speed is fine. You'll run, where is it here? I think there might be, so yeah, something like Leadership, and then like a Brainiac Jonesy, kind of, so it reduces or increases the duration. You run Base Solo as well, increases duration for each kill, and so you're just spamming rockets, but it's very cost heavy, and not something I like to run, but that's another loadout you can do. That is very, very, very strong. Like, launchers are the best weapons in the game, but yeah, that's about it for soldier loadouts. Again, like I said, it's all personal preference. Don't just run something because someone says it's good. I mean, if it's good, use it. But if it's not something that you want to use, if doesn't really fit your playstyle, then don't. Because we're playing a game after all. It's about enjoying it. So yeah, personal preference in terms of your loadouts. There are a lot of heroes in this game, a lot of different builds you can do. Try everything out for yourself. Stick to what you like, But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'll probably be uploading the rest of the classes probably this weekend. And then I got a few other video ideas, so if you're looking forward to that, consider subscribing. If not, if you learned anything, if you liked the video, consider leaving a like. Comment down what you'd like to see in the future, if anything. Appreciate you guys watching, though. Peace out.